You would not believe your pants if 10 million bullet ants crawled up your leg and then bit your balls. It was my birthday this past week, and I had a grand old time, friends. I got this sick and Justice for All jersey because I am just a shameless Metallica shill. I got this Call of Duty jersey too. I am just the most basic of all the bitches at Trader Joe's. Oh yeah, here's a fun fact. Did you guys know that Trader Joe's is actually short for Tredarius Joseph? But anyway, it wasn't just my birthday this past week. It was another special someone's birthday too. That's right, The Undertaker's birthday is actually really close to mine. But it was another special someone's birthday as well. Brother, I cannot believe it has already been 4 years since I'd finally gotten myself a Gibson Les Paul Standard. Smash Mouth was right. The years start coming and they really do not stop coming. And since this guitar was made in the good old US of A, I couldn't think of anything more fitting than naming her after an otter that was a victim of gun violence. What is up, Bubble Butts? Den here, and today we're going to be talking about Lila, because it's her 4th birthday. Let's flash back to 4 years ago. I had done a lot in my life up to that point. I had jumped off the stratosphere in Las Vegas, I had broken my shoulder running faster than the speed of light, and I had even met little Debbie and her mom. Full-size Deborah. But up to that point, I still didn't have my dream guitar, which was a Gibson Les Paul Standard. I had a Les Paul Studio, but I kept getting bullied by people's grandfathers on Facebook for only having a studio. What would owning one and getting to play it every day feel like? I could have only imagined it was something similar to smoking meth out of God's dick. Owning one would complete me, I told myself. The ancient ones in the Facebook groups would finally accept me if I had one. The Les Paul Standard would haunt me in my dreams, telling me things like, "Buy me, you stupid little twink." And in 2021, I had finally gotten my chance. The stars had aligned, destiny had arrived, and fortune was spraying its sweet, sweet nectar all over my face. I already had some money saved up, and at the time, the government kept throwing money at us like we were its favorite stripper named Crandolph. And my birthday was coming up, so I told everyone to just give me your fucking money! Plus, this was right before Gibson said, "Hey, what if we keep making the same guitar, but make it more expensive?" All those factors came together, and I ended up having just enough to finally fulfill the pipe dream I've had since 7th grade. It was finally time to buy one, and actually seriously looking for one was crazy. I had never spent this much money on a toy before. I felt like a divorced billionaire impulse buying something way too expensive just to make myself feel better. And I looked around for a while because I wanted to find the perfect 60s Standard in unburst. The 50 Standard had the honeyburst color, which is technically closer to what I wanted, but I ain't dealing with that fat ass neck, okay? I personally do not enjoy it when my guitar neck has the same circumference as Sydney Sweeney's caboose. I like them more on the thinner side, so the 60 Standard was perfect for me. But there was a bit of a snag. You see, the word consistency is a bit of a foreign concept to old Gibby. So there was a lot of variance between the flame and finish in all the 60 Standards and unbursts that I was looking at. Some of them had really good flame, but they were orange, and then others would be the right color, but they'd basically be plain tops. And before you shit your pants in the comments, my local guitar center didn't have dick, okay? So I was only looking at online listings that had pictures of the actual guitar they were selling. Yeah, pro tip, don't buy a flame top guitar from a place that only uses the stock photos. I mean, unless you like gambling your money, then I guess it's fine. But eventually I found one that Sam Ash, RIP in peace, had listed on Reverb. Now in the pictures, the flame didn't actually look the craziest, but the color was perfect, so I ended up choosing that one. So I had finally pressed order. I had officially spent $2,500 on a piece of wood. And I tell you what, I was an absolute wreck waiting for this thing. I was more stressed out than Malfoy is in season 3 of The White Lotus. Would it actually look right? Would the headstock be intact? Would Sam Ash throw away their 97-year reputation of reliability and choose me to be the first person they ever scam? I was cripplingly nervous and visibly hard for an entire week. But eventually, it did arrive. I opened up the box, and there it was, hidden inside of that beautiful case that looks like it was made out of Andre the Giant's enormous, leathery scrotum. I unhooked all the latches and opened it up, and tears began flowing out of every orifice. It was perfect. The color was exactly what I wanted, and in a very pleasant surprise, this thing was flamier than the RNC. And I'm very happy to say that 4 years later, this guitar still fondles the balls of my heart. Not only is this a beautiful hunk of ass, but this thing absolutely rips. Of course, you can effortlessly play blues and dad rock on this thing all day long until you have a stroke in front of your family. But I think this guitar really shines when you're playing metal. This set of 61 burstbuckers goes crazy on some Unga Bunga caveman riffs. Now I rotate my guitars pretty regularly just so I make sure that I actually play all of them. But every time I pick this thing back up, I am bewildered at how hard this thing fucks. I will not, nor have I ever denied, that when Gibson gets it right, what they make is pretty damn special. But now let's talk about the things I don't particularly like on this guitar. For starters, I'm not a big fan of artificial product differentiation. One thing that really bugs me about modern day Gibsons is they call these like the 50s or 60s standards, but they don't use the taller plastics on the pickup rings. That particularly bugs me because I am an acoustic child and I hyperfixate on dumb shit like that. It's only if you spend 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to shit, maybe even 10 times more on a custom shop or a Murphy Lab 1960, 1959, 58 reissue, whatever the fuck, will you get the correct size plastics. You may have noticed that Gibson has recently started selling those lore-accurate vintage plastics and accessories for laughable amounts of money. You can get the era-correct tall pickup rings for $160. Look, I could not give less of a shit that it's made out of Bakelite or whatever. Selling 2 little rings made of plastic for $160 is fucking stupid. Luckily, I grabbed this set of taller pickup rings before Gibson realized they could exploit their fans even more with these. Now, these are just made of normal, everyday pickup ring plastic. They're just taller, and they were like 12 bucks. Oh, did you hear that? But yeah, the artificial product differentiation is pretty whack. Like I said, I swap out my guitars pretty regularly, and if this thing sits for longer than a week, it gets sticky. I don't like that. Nitro's cool as shit, don't get me wrong. And yeah, it makes it more resonant or whatever, even though they put a shit ton of plasticizers in it now. I know it's gonna age and wear beautifully, and eventually the stickiness is gonna go away, but it hasn't gone away yet. And I don't like it. Another thing is the Grover tuners are uggo, which kind of pisses me off because these tuners like work great actually. This is a very rare example of a Gibson Les Paul that actually stays in tune very, very well. It just has the gross kidney button tuners, and I've said like 17 billion times how they look like a boob or a bell end. Kidney buttons are a disgrace to a Les Paul, and you should be ashamed of yourself if you sell your Les Paul style guitar with kidney button tuners. But I don't know, man, these tuners work so good. Maybe I can just swap out the buttons? Is that possible? Can you do that? I don't know. I'm probably gonna sound like a next level dipshit for asking that, but pff, I don't know. I was told asking questions is never a bad thing. Another little negative about this guitar is one of these inlays popped out a year or two ago, which is pretty whack considering this is my most expensive guitar. Actually, it's happened to both my Gibsons. Like, I know when you get a good one, it's crazy and it's really cool, but why does everyone just use that to write off Gibson's consistency and quality control? It's ass. It sucks. It blows gopher nuts. I'm just saying, it would be nice if my luxury made-in-America guitars that cost thousands of dollars didn't fall apart faster than my $800 LTD from Indonesia. That'd just be swell, wouldn't it? Which brings me to my last little thing I don't like about the Gibson Les Paul in general, is that not all of them are going to be this good. Like, I got the white whale here, guys. It looks good, it sounds good, it feels good, but not every Gibson is like that. Nowadays, you will spend more than what I did buying a 60s Gibson Les Paul Standard, and there is a non-zero chance that you will get an absolute plum. You could pay $3,300 for one of the custom shop top 60s Les Paul Standards, and you could get one that comes with a flame top that doesn't even compete with this. It doesn't make any fucking sense. They gotta get their shit together, guys. I'm sorry. Honestly, the thing I dislike the most about this guitar is the brand name on it. Not because I don't physically like the way it looks, I actually think the logo's really clean. It's embarrassing to be a fan of Gibson these days. And it's mostly because of the way them and their fandom carries themselves. It's like this guitar is Adam Eve, and Gibson the brand is Adam Eve's dad. You know, this unbearable asshole. You've heard it all before, but I did make a list. I really do not like how Gibson keeps gouging their prices, yet they do nothing to address their quality control issues, is trying way too hard to be a luxury brand, has no idea what the word consistency means, is far more focused on selling to their rich friends and celebrities instead of actual working musicians, care more about suing other brands than improving their own products, buys out companies, then tries to sneakily fire the creator of said company, and then blacklists one of that company's artists when they speak the truth. All right, I get it! I also hate that Gibson elitists have absolutely ruined the reputation of Gibson owners. Like, thanks to these chodes, there's now this stigma around Gibson owners that we're all pretentious snobs that are 4,000 years old. And it's cringe. Like, I don't know if you guys realize it, but the rest of the guitar community views the Gibson people as this gigantic, collective, insufferable asshole that's older than shit and has a god complex. And Gibson trying way too hard to become a luxury brand now is only making that worse. Back in my day, people looked at Gibsons like they were professional tools for real musicians, and not a hilariously overpriced vanity collector's piece for some pretentious old fart that inherited their dad's oil money. Anyway, I think you guys get the point. This guitar still absolutely fucks, and Gibson, unfortunately, still absolutely sucks. Yeah, 4 years later, this guitar still makes my bajinkles bajoink. I love my Lila. I just wish the brand would be better. If you are gonna run the risk of buying a Gibson USA, then I wish you the best of luck. And I swear to God, do not hesitate to send it back if it is not absolutely everything you want. These guitars are expensive as shit. You should get a good guitar. Don't settle for less than that. But that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you let me know. Help out the engagement on this video. Help me compete with all the bigger guitar channels out there by leaving a like, leave a comment on this video, give me your thoughts and opinions, share the video around. And if you regularly watch this video and you haven't already subscribed, then the Gibson that you spend thousands of dollars on is going to be the shittest dick. And then your kids are going to look at you and you're just going to feel their disappointment in you. Real quick before we go, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Cosmic Steez, A Horse Running, Jet, Solar Flare, Suno Verma, Rob Heath, Bad Joke Gaming, Brandon's Ballast Corner, Bandage Knives, Jan Chocolate, Leagues Beneath, Frizz Flips, and Scott Toman. These bad bitches are my current channel members, and their support really does mean a lot. If you want to join these guys, get a shout out in my longer videos, get access to all the members only videos. They're like almost all guitar videos, guys. It's crazy, and there's so many of them that I need to upload still. And you just want to help support the channel in a bigger way, then you can go down there, click the join button. Tiers start as low as 3 schleemies. But if you don't want to join a membership and you still want to support the channel in that way, just as like a one-time thing, there's the super thanks button down there. It's like a little tip jar. I am done being a tool. Thank you guys once again so much for watching. I'll see y'all next time.